For the first time on TV in Southwest Florida, we're seeing the struggle families in Cuba go through just to eat and just to make a living.
All of this is especially important right now, of course, as the U.S. and Cuba try to make some sort of agreement that benefits both of the countries. Week News reporter Alex Schreck went to Cuba with me last week, and this story you shot tonight fascinates me because of how upfront the people in Cuba were with you when you walked down the street.
Very open. Everybody we spoke with, whether they were young or old, seemed to be real supportive of the changes. That we drove out to some neighborhoods on the outskirts of Havana. The people we met, again, they said they welcome those changes, but they don't understand how or when those changes will filter down into their daily lives for simple things such as buying food.
Old cars, tourist-filled streets, music, and even film crews in the 16th century capital city of 2 million plus, Havana, a city in the world spotlight.
Que haya mejor relaciones entre Cuba y Estados Unidos.
The security guard worker just said it's better to have a good relationship between the two countries. Bring it on, he says. Yet his neighborhood is one of the many where long lines wait to buy government-subsidized food. The man to my right says he supports the changes. The food he just waited in line to buy, bread and eggs. Across town, more lines like this one waiting for eggs, and for a man at this nearby supermarket, a little ham. A glimpse inside reveals sacks of Argentine rice waiting to be bought by a line of people standing. Many things locals and tourists say they'd be happy to see remain intact for decades to come. A history dating back centuries to when the old world met the new. U.S. diplomats are here once more, twisting the arm of communism, tempting it to loosen its grip as tourists and young Cubans sing praises of changes to come.
We need this, I think.
While billboards across town spell out victories of the revolution and socialism. Victories that have left Cuba's common people out in the rain.
Again, really caught off guard by the candor of those people we met. So many of them told us just how hard it is to live. Nobody can say for certain what renewed diplomacy will bring, but any change in the eyes of these people is enough to bring them hope, Chris.
And you spent, of all of us, probably the most time talking to people who live there. What struck you the most?
It was kind of cliche, but really it was the people. Young and the old, very open, optimistic. Of course, the older people, a little slower to speak on camera, understandably. They're still afraid. Those younger folks, no shortage of young people that said, we can't wait for this to happen.
Yeah, and it seemed like the younger people are ready for it to happen now.
I agree.
All right, we'll see what happens. More tomorrow. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Chris.
And continuing our coverage of the Charleston church massacre, churches across the nation have been holding prayer vigils for the victims and their families.
Including the Bethel AME Church in Punta Gorda. Week News reporter Alex Schreck was there earlier today.
Sunday at Bethel AME Church in Punta Gorda.
I'm coming to church today so I can bless God.
United parishioners and visitors celebrated Father's Day.
I said in my heart, come now, I will test you with mirth.
The weight and sadness of national tragedy still looming.
The day is very special because we're gathering together to pray in the remembrance of the 9 people who were killed.
Many of those here said they've been down this road before.
I remember very distinctly that evening. I'd been in class or something. I hadn't heard the news. And an African-American man who I did not know came up to me and said, "Sister, they killed King." And it was the way that man said sister. There was just like, the pain of it was all of our pain.
Pain from wounds like the murders of Dr. King and the 9 people in Charleston that Martha Beretta says could be eased by people just talking openly.
Nice to meet you.
I think it would be very good if European Americans would just have conversations about race among other European Americans in their homes.
White male, about 21.
White male, approximately 21 years of age.
In Punta Gorda, Alex Schreck, Wink News Now.
So as far as changes from global warming, this place has already changed so much just in my time out here.
Florida Governor Rick Scott's ban of the use of terms such as climate change and global warming didn't make it here into the swamps.
There's so much life here.
Or Gladesmen like Jack Sheely speak freely.
Water is our biggest resource here, and we're at a constant battle for survival. I know we got the presidents coming down here, and I hope that someone can take the time to get him out here and really show him, what this place is about.
He's the fourth generation of men in his family.
My heritage is something I'm real proud of.
To earn his living here.
Some of the pioneering families in the national parks, tourism's our form of sustenance now.
He says he hopes his two sons, who are named after Everglades rivers, can carry on the family's legacy.
I don't think anybody really wants to say it, but I think what a lot of people are hoping for right now is that our president's going to come down here, and on Earth Day, they're going to buy this big piece of land.
In the Everglades, Alex Schreck, Wink News.
8 or 10 times a year, maybe.
Wow.
91-year-old Harold Elsesser was just honored with a trip to New York City for volunteering for Habitat for Humanity for more than a quarter of a century.
See how it's a little bit new.
As part of his trip, he traveled back in time. Yesterday, aboard the USS Intrepid, an aircraft carrier, now a museum, where the U.S. Navy's second-class electrician spent 3 years, from 1941 to 1944. He remembers the bombs and gunfire from Japanese warplanes.
When you hear those little brrrr, then you know that there's an airplane right close.
Harold was just 17. He still has his old notes of the USS Intrepid's electrical circuits that he scribbled here on this notepad 70 years ago.
What is this from?
These are the fuse boxes on the ship.
After 3 years at sea, back to Norristown, Pennsylvania, work in those days meant long drives to Florida to bring back potatoes to sell back east. 20 years in the produce business eventually gave way to a career as a carpenter and a business owner. Thousands of 5 a.m. workday wake-ups later, retirement day came.
2 weeks sitting around the house.
That was enough.
At 65 years old, Howard began again, rehabbing homes for Habitat for Humanity.
Something to do.
26 years later, he's still at it. In less than 24 hours after a national television appearance, he was ready to get back to work.
Some people like to play golf, probably, and
Alex Schreck,
I like to
Wink News, now.
outdoors, like I was doing today.